Welcome to Engaging with Monique, a podcast where you can find inspiration and hear from people who are engaging with the world in exciting and inspiring ways. Let's jump right in with Monique.
Hi, I'm Dr. Monique Henderson with Engaging with Monique, a program designed to inspire and challenge you to make your world a little bit better every day and to find meaning and purpose in your daily life. Today, guys, I'm so excited to have with me Dr. Melanie Nelson. Dr. Nelson, I've been trying to really reflect on how it is that we came to know each other. And I just remember just really knowing you and kind of experiencing your light as a human being. So you're here today partly because of your role, which you can feel free to tell people about, but also just kind of who you are as a person. But let's go ahead and jump right in and just tell us, what's it like to be you right now? How is it that you're spending your time?
I spend my time running. That's how I feel. I have made time for a personal life and a career, and I'm going to cater to both. So I run. When I'm at work, I'm running. And when I finish that, I'm catering to my personal life. And while I'm running, that gives me balance to make sure that I am not neglecting one or the other.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting because I'm wondering now, part of the reason I think it is part of the reason that I have been drawn to you is seeing you run around and in heels at that. It makes me think of my mother who was an immigrant. My grandparents were Bulgarian, my mother was French, but she always would just run around even in her 80s in heels or like sky high wedges.
Yes.
And I have been told that I walk really fast
Yeah.
and need to slow down sometimes. And so that's kind of speaking to me. Well, how are you spending your time in terms of what are the kind of the different buckets of your life right now?
So it's funny that you talked about your mother and moving around in heels, because my family and my friends are going, you go too much. And I'm thinking, do you want me to not go anywhere?
Yes.
But things that give you purpose. And my job gives me purpose that I love. It keeps me connected to people, to a good cause, to current events, and to doing good in my time.
Right.
But with my personal life, I'm running to see family and friends. Every night on Monday, without fail, I have a phenomenal Bible study group.
Wow.
We call ourselves 365. We discovered it takes 365 days to read the Bible completely
Really?
in a year based on a plan that we have. And we love it. And so I stop for that. But even on my Zoom call, I'm running with them. My purpose is to my feet.
Wow.
I am a brain surgery survivor.
I didn't know this about you.
Yes, ma'am. I had a grand mal seizure in my third grade classroom in front of my students. And they found a cluster of arteries that did this at birth instead of this. Nothing that I ate, nothing that I drank, nothing that I did.
Wasn't that soda? We talked about soda earlier.
Freak of nature that I was born with this. And while it was one of the most traumatic things I've ever experienced, it gave me my greatest testimony. And after coming out of the brain surgery, I was completely paralyzed on the right side. And doctors, big time medical doctors who are here in Jackson, Mississippi, they no longer work at the medical center, but they were phenomenal.
Right.
I think they've just moved on to bigger practices. One of them came in the room and asked, could you take a year off?
Ooh.
Yeah. And I thought, I was young. I was 26, 27. And I thought, take a year off. Who wants to take a year off of their lives?
Right.
Think about where we were with COVID, taking that time off of life. And so I just came back with a vengeance, learning to walk again and to move this side and investing in the things that matter. And I just refused to stand still.
Wow.
So now if you see me walking, you'll see a slight limp.
Never.
I call it a cute strut, but it is.
Oh, yeah. No, well, you have said that before. Just strut in, and I
strut in.
Dear.
In my sorority, they call me a strutter. For Delta Sigma Theta.
Oh,
You know how to get
got to get that in there. So,
But yes, so don't sit still. We're not on this earth to sit still. We're here to move. Imagine people who aren't able to move.
right.
Don't sit still. And my cousin, I remember taking my quad cane, saying, "I'm tired of you walking that cane." But again, you have to remember at that time I was a single mother. Oh, wow. And been freshly married and bald and a career I was teaching. And for people to see what I went through, because when I came to from that seizure, the question that I had to the person who was standing over me about to give me CPR was, "Am I dead?
Oh,
Am I dead?" Those were my words. And when she said no, I went crazy. But I said all that to say, I don't think the answer or the comment to make someone is, "You're always on the go." Celebrate the movement.
yes.
Celebrate the
I get that too. I'm going to tell you as we're headed into a break, this conversation is sort of convicting to me in a way because I'm sitting here realizing I think that on some level you and I know each other. Not well, but we know each other. And I did not know this transformational story from your life. So that's just a lesson, I think, for all of us to really stop and see who's in front of you and
Yes.
what makes them who they are.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about kind of what keeps you going on your hard days and a little bit more about your focus. So we'll be right back on the other side of this message with Dr. Melanie Nelson. I should have already.
If you have enjoyed this podcast and some of the messages and ideas shared by Dr. Henderson here on Engaging with Monique, why not have her come and speak to your school, community group, conference, or nonprofit? From California to Texas to Mississippi to South Dakota, Dr. Henderson has extensive experience connecting with both large and small groups. Her energy and insights can challenge and grow your team to make a difference, even in challenging times of rapid change. As a former journalist and educational researcher, she is also skilled at facilitating panel discussions for a variety of groups. As one client said, Dr. Henderson is always the most energetic person in the room, and she can help to serve as a great reminder of why the work that we do matters, today and always. Email Monique at EnglishLearnersEngage.com or go to EngagingWithMonique.com for more information.
All right, we're back again with Dr. Melanie Nelson. Dr. Nelson, I don't think that you told us what you actually do for a living.
Can't believe I missed that.
I love that because what we do for a living isn't necessarily, it is important, but it's not necessarily all we are, right? A title isn't all that we are. But tell us really quick what you have learned, and I'm going to fill everyone in, what you have learned in your work with this community where you are serving as superintendent.
Okay. Well, it's interesting that you said we've not talked about my job because my title, because we have and the purpose, but I am an educator first and foremost. I finally, in my opinion, reached the pinnacle of my career as a superintendent. But that gives me such great purpose because truly education is the foundation of everything. You want to be an astronaut, got to go to school, got to listen to your teacher. You want to be a doctor, got to go to school, got to listen to your teacher.
Right.
If you want to be a mechanic, got to go to school, got to listen to your teacher. And everything, I am an educator. And being here, it was a journey. And I don't say this lightly to the listeners. I was applying for, well, let me back up a little bit. I was sitting in church on Sunday and the sermon came and I was rearing back in my seat listening to Pastor Hollins. He was my pastor at the time, Kenneth Hollins, great pastor. Look him up, New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. But he was talking about things that God had for you. And the way he delivered the sermon, he knew it was that God was speaking to me.
Right.
And that's not all the time. I know I'm sure he is, but that one I got it. And I left there and I told my cousins, that job is mine because I was trying to get a job as a superintendent. So I went out for this job. They didn't even get the application. I don't know what I did. I thought, oh my goodness. So then another one came up. I was like, that's my job. Didn't get that. And then where I worked and my home that I loved came available and I didn't get that one.
And I remember a little bit of that journey. Yeah.
And I said, God, I thought I knew your voice. And I was devastated, but I was still working. I just left it at that and smiling.
And I saw you in the position. Yes.
And when this one came open, said, that's the job. And it was 2 years later.
Huh.
So what I learned was that God will deliver on his promise when you listen and when you are obedient.
Right.
And it took 2 years. So, we are flawed human beings, but with that, when this job was given to me, this community, I had to love them, embrace them, nurture them the way I have been loved, embraced, and nurtured. And when we make mistakes, we have to forgive each other. There's so much love, even on my school board, which, people constantly talk about the relationship between the superintendent and the school board. Mine is unique. If they listen to this, I love each and every one of them. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
And they've not voted for everything. Fuck me.
Absolutely.
Shot some of my stuff down and hurt my feelings. But we respect each other so that they don't even realize that they're making me a better person.
Right.
And I pray that I'm doing that with them and for this community. That's what I pray in this position.
Powerful that you said the community is given to you.
Yeah.
It's
For you.
right. That's really good. All right. Well, listen, we're going to take one more quick break. And then when we come back, Dr. Nelson is going to talk about what she's learning in her broader life beyond her, and also share a couple of pieces of advice that she wants to leave us with.
Are you an educator who gets to experience the joy and privilege of serving English learners at the classroom, school, or district level? We can help to ensure that your students are getting what they need and helping you to feel more equipped to serve them well. English Learners Engage is a Mississippi-based educational consulting company owned by Monique that provides professional development, in-classroom teacher coaching and modeling, student tutorials, and products focused on serving multilingual students. We also provide technical support. Dr. Henderson's 2 books, 31 Things Your English Learners Want You to Know, Lessons from the Classroom, along with a sequel, are quick, accessible reads, perfect for a school or district-wide book study or for individual teachers. Each chapter is concise and clear, starting with a story about a specific student or group of students and ending with a quick tip and reflection question. Whether your school has 1 English learner who needs to build English proficiency or 1,000, EL Engage and Dr. Henderson can support you. Working together, we can take your English learners to the next level. Reach out today at Monique@EnglishLearnersEngage.com to see EL Engage's results and to get Monique and her team working for you.
Back with one of my favorite people. And by the way, I did not acknowledge this is our first venture onto the road, because everything else that we have done has been at a location, but we had some challenges this morning and being able to meet there. And I thought, who better to go on the road for than Dr. Nelson and to be here in this community. So we're definitely going to hit the road. So that explains kind of our different background today. But, Dr. Nelson, you've talked a little bit about work and what you're learning there, but you also talked about, you have your personal life, you have this group of women that I assume they're women. It might be women and men.
They are
Okay.
phenomenal.
But what are you learning in your broader life right now? What are some things you're focusing on and learning there?
To be truthful, and I've spoken about my job, but you have to pause and have a life. Whatever it is you enjoy. I love to travel. So I'll go wherever. My funniest story is going to a Beyonce concert and just refusing to sit in the nosebleed section where I purchased the ticket, but just to go to experience something new. I truly believe that that life is short and that people are the most important. You can spend your time being mad about things that you can't change, but ultimately forgiveness, finding forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and then loving people. I truly believe love always wins. I believe that a smile is what you start with, whether or not you speak someone's language. That's the other lesson I've learned here. I have the highest Hispanic population in the state.
Right.
And
a lot of people don't believe me when I say that.
yes, right here in Little Forest, Mississippi, or what I call Big Forest, in Forest, Mississippi. But just yesterday, one of the parents came up with his cell phone and he had put his statement in and he hit translate, and the principal read what he had to say. And then she spoke into the phone. He got it in his language. So this day and age, there's no reason, to not communicate, to not talk, listen, love, and forgive.
You're making me think about a day that I had yesterday. I was in a high school in Alabama. And you have those days where you can just feel that morale is low.
Yes.
It was people were struggling. I think we're heading into fall break a little bit.
Yes.
And they've had a few challenges. And so the instructional coach looked at me and she had her coffee cart ready to roll to give the teachers a little bit of coffee or another drink of their choice. And she said, "Hey, let's go. Let's get out there and love some people and teach some people." And then, and I think that's occurring to me that you guys would really like each other. Yeah. All right. So we're going to take one more break. Okay.
Hey, my name is Jonathan Tullis. I'm the guy that's been editing this podcast. And if you like what you're hearing, I love to talk to you about what I can do for your nonprofit or your church or parachurch organization. I'm the founder of Strangely Warmed Media, a digital media consultancy that specializes in taking organizations to where they want to be in all aspects of digital media, including websites, podcasts, live streaming, and more. If you want to learn more, I invite you to visit my website at strangelywarmed.media. That's strangelywarmed.media, and learn about how Strangely Warmed Media can partner with you.
Okay. Dr. Nelson is back with us again, and she has agreed, as all our guests do, to graciously share 2 pieces of advice that she has either discovered herself or 2 pieces of advice that she has been given that she just wants to leave us with that would be helpful. So not necessarily the most important piece of advice, because how do you pick that?
I know.
But just 2 pieces of advice that you think would be helpful to our viewers and our listeners.
So I'll give it from 2 different angles. I'm going to give it from my job perspective. My principal years ago, when the school where I taught, I went back and served as the principal there.
Oh, that's
And
neat.
so I replaced the principal who was my principal when I was a teacher. And on her way out the door, Susan Brand said to me, "Dr. Nelson, don't look up and your troops are not marching behind you." So remember that in leadership, because a person is powerful when you're collecting people for a cause and a mission. Make sure that you're leading appropriately and correctly, that whatever you're putting out is good in the world. So don't look up and your troops are not marching behind you. Now, they can march behind you for bad things too.
Right.
But if you want to do what's outlined in the word, then make sure you're putting out what you want to get back. So the right.
Right. And one of the things that we found, I kind of touch on a little bit here, is that you talk about leadership. Sometimes that might not be formal leadership, right? I imagine when you were a teacher, you were a leader. I imagine when you were a student in college, you were probably a leader in some way. Yeah. And so think about getting your people lined up with you. Sometimes maybe with you in line, right? And sometimes maybe you do need to be leading in the front, but in whatever we do. So, all right, one more piece.
So the other piece is my personal life. Live. Live. Every day that you wake up and you have breath, you live it and enjoy it. You laugh with someone. When I come into the office, they say, "We always know when you're here and you're loud." I said, "Yeah, but I'm laughing. I'm making sure they're laughing." I believe love. Oh, man. I truly believe that. A shirt with it. So in life, live, laugh, and love,
Yeah,
That's it.
I love it.
That's
I
my
love it.
piece of it.
All right, Dr. Nelson, to close out, we're going to bump off our formula for just a minute, or kind of our structure that we usually, because as a journalist, I was taught to never leave a story on the table.
All right.
And I'm sitting here and in the back of my mind, I'm realizing that when we turn off the camera, I really want to ask you about the Beyonce tickets. So I feel like we got to clarify that before we hit the road here. So, all right, tell me how you got nosebleed seats and then not.
Okay. So my sister, her birthday was yesterday. And I've been teasing her that she is now old. And she's like, in just a few days, you're coming right behind
Yeah,
me.
you have a birthday this month.
Yes, coming up on Saturday. So for our birthday, after I got the job here, I said, I'm going to treat her to something nice. And she said she'd been wanting to go to Beyonce.
Yeah.
So I called her and I was like, get some tickets. Well, it was late in the game, but we got the tickets. She flew here. She works with Delta Airlines. She flew here.
What city?
I'm giving.
Okay.
So I have family in Mansfield, Texas, and the concert was in Dallas.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
At AT&T Stadium. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
It is.
While I'm a big time Saints fan, I do love the Cowboys.
Yes.
So I've never been. So in my mind, the stadium couldn't be that high. It had to be more wide. We got the tickets. We're going up there, and I'm afraid of heights. I like being up high, but I'm afraid of heights. Go figure. So I'm looking, and I'm like, we just keep inching up and going up higher. My body's starting to feel funny. So we get to the third level, and I look up, and I see the seats in 400, and I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm trying to compose myself because my sister's gonna go crazy. So we sit down and finally get to the seat, and I'm just about to hyperventilate. I'm losing it.
I've been there.
I could not take it any longer. And I'm like, bless her heart. So she goes, she's so mad at me. I'm thinking I'm going to see Beyonce outside. And so
To hear Beyonce from the car.
she goes down, she finds an usher, and she tells him, we got high seats. My sister can't sit up there. So mad at me. It's a seat in the W section. And I'm going, it's for you. Y'all, it was the wheelchairs. I was sitting my baby in her wheelchair, and I felt so bad. If you're seeing this, I felt bad, but I couldn't take it. Y'all, I enjoyed the concert, and I've had the nerve to be dancing. But yeah, that was my first and last Beyonce. Well, I think it's my last. Beyonce, if you hear this, I'll still come see you if it's your death.
Just not way. I was well, talking about living a little bit. I haven't told this story necessarily on here, but my daughter, Taylor Swift, right? So we're not Swifties, but we do like a little Taylor Swift. And I was like, that's a fun experience. And so I said, I don't have thousands of dollars Taylor money on the resale market. I've got the original ticket money. And so we got in to get the last of the seats from the original sale, and they were $95.
Wow.
And the view was, and this was when they were when she was first starting to come out. They were in Houston, where we used to live, and they said that it said something about the view might be somewhat obstructed, and I'm like, for $95, I could deal with some obstruction. How about I'm thinking a little pole, or maybe we have to do this. No, it was a great experience, but we were at the very top, and we were behind the screen. So we could see, and we have no idea, but we could hear it. And it was fun. And the people around us were so enthusiastic and happy to be there. And everybody was exchanging their little friendship bracelets and all of that. And so I'm like, we ought to be part of a cultural experience that everyone was really excited about. Loved seeing all the girls that were dressed up and everything. But did not see a thing. And then people were trying to ask me about the show and like this costume change. I'm like, I saw zero on the game. I was like, but you were there. But I was in the stadium with Taylor and her band. So it was a way of living, right? Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
But well, as much as we hate it, our time with Dr. Nelson's coming to an end for today. We're going to have you back. But hey, don't worry. We'll be back again soon. In the meantime, check us out wherever you listen to your podcast. Tell a friend. Check out the show notes. Get a little more information on Dr. Nelson and on our work here. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram with Engaging with Monique. See you again soon.
Thanks for spending part of your day engaging with Monique. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, so you'll know when the next episode drops. Find our Facebook page for show notes and more. And don't forget to tell a friend about how much you love engaging with Monique.